Hello, Scribblers. I'm Katie, the founder and CEO of the Scribblers Den, your online source for writing craft courses and writing community. Today, we are chatting with Nelly Hill. Nelly writes dark thrillers and dark fantasy. Her books include Dead by Dusk. Great. You have great titles, by the way. Like, I love both of these
Thank
titles.
you.
And the upcoming Beautiful Dangerous Things. She's always been an avid reader, and now she's writing her own stories and letting her voice be heard. So, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, thank you for having me.
It's gonna be exciting. And obviously, Scribblers, you missed this, but we've already discussed there may be some like random animal appearances in this. So cross your fingers that maybe we are blessed by the pets. All right, so let's dive in. Has writing always been part of your life, or is it something you've kind of come to more recently? Can you just share like the deep lore about your writing journey with us?
Of course. So writing for a long period of my life has been present. It started with my grandmother. She was a poet, an
Mm.
artiste. And
I love that you
she
say artiste. I
heavily
love that.
lovely, lovely lady, very, very talented woman. And she highly encouraged that when I was very, very young. So around the age of probably 10 is when I just started trying. And
Okay.
that she was like, trying is good enough. Trying is good enough. I love it. You're doing great. And at the age of 14, I wrote and got my first poem in a anthology under a
Oh,
different name,
awesome.
under a different name. I won't, under my real name. So we shall not say that.
Ooh,
But
interesting.
um, I did that, fell in love with it, and then from 12 to 17 probably, I was very heavy in poetry. I loved
Mhm.
it. I got three or four more also published in anthologies. Um,
Congratulations. That's
and
awesome.
huh?
That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy to think about being so young and then like having them. It felt like a big thing. It felt like a big
It is
thing.
a big thing. Absolutely.
And I knew kind of I was just like I need my career path to involve writing of some sort,
Mhm.
maybe teaching, like I would love to teach, creative writing or literature and be able to kind of implement this in other people because I loved reading, I loved writing, and I loved kind of disseminating, like the different meanings because there's always different meanings that you can find in writing. Um, I did not go to college though. I ended up joining the military and I stopped writing for 3 years. And in my
Okay.
last year, I picked it back up, started writing poetry again. And I had all of these people saying, like, you're amazing, publish a book, write a book, publish one, whatever you write, I'll buy. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll publish a poetry book. Like I had all of these poems, that I was just building up. I had like two full notebooks. Um, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I don't know. I don't know about all that. And I kind of started just writing more and more poetry. I had an idea for a poetry book, like how I would want it.
Mhm.
Um, and I was like, this could be really good. This is, I feel like, a very unique take on something. I had a title for it. Um, and then I just didn't do it. I didn't do it, but I did start, and it is on my TikTok right now. They're just like the very first videos down on my TikTok. I started reading them out loud,
Okay.
just to see. I was like, can I do this? Can I actually get comfortable doing this? And I had really good feedback, and I was like, okay,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna readers. This author did not do that.
No.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. All the signs are
um,
pointing to yes, and you're like, what if I did it?
yeah, like it was just like a lot of pullback, a lot of
Yeah.
pullback. Um, but I do thankfully have a lot of really amazing friends, really amazing parents that really like pushed it. They're like,
Mhm.
you need to do something. It's a waste of talent at this point if you don't do something with it. And I was like, okay, well, let me write a book.
Yeah.
And the idea for Dead by Dusk came while I was in the military, actually. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something else. Like just a random idea. I saw a painting of something and I was like, what would be so cool? this world, this setting, this is happening. I'm gonna write this book. This is the book I'm gonna write.
I love that. I love that. Do you
Obviously, I did
have,
not do
wait,
that. I
wait, wait,
did
hold
my
on, hold
best.
on. I need to know, do you have the painting, like a picture of it, or I mean, not
I
like
have
necessarily to share with us, but like, do you keep it somewhere so that you can look at it all the
I
time?
do. It's
Okay.
the painting was actually on a journal.
Okay.
Um, I do have it because I was like, I'm gonna plot the whole book in this journal
Okay.
specifically. I bought the journal so so I could be always inspired, and I did. I started plotting it. I
Okay.
still think it's a wonderful idea. I still might do it one day, but I was
Uh-huh.
like, this is gonna take a lot of like actual full plotting, and I learned very early I am not a plotter.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's just like
Interesting. Interesting. All right.
um so that just wasn't really vibing with me very well. It was not. And so instead, I started writing Dead by Dusk. And again, it was an idea I had in the military from a dream, some
Mhm.
random dream that I had. And
Sounds like
it
a horrible
influenced the
dream.
first.
Like I just read the synopsis for the book and I'm like, "Ooh, this is intense. This is oh my goodness. Nelly, what is
Yeah,
happening in your dreams?"
crazy stuff. I have the craziest dreams. I always have. Um, and yeah, this dream influenced about the first three chapters, plus little, one little detail in
Okay.
like chapter maybe 7 or 8. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool. I'm gonna add that. But like beyond that, I had to make it up, and I think that's very rude of my
I
subconscious to
know.
not give me the full story. I waited 3 years to get the full
Yeah,
story.
very rude. You gotta talk to your brain. You gotta get on that.
I I did. I had a very hard talking to. Very, very big sit down. So this is not good. I don't know who you think you are, but next time,
Give it
we're
all.
gonna have an issue.
Yes.
We're gonna between you and I, we're gonna have an issue.
Oh my gosh. That's okay. So I love all of this. Like every little part of this story. And since we're already kind of talking a little bit more about Dead by Dusk, um, we know it's from a dream, but can you like
Yes.
how did you get the rest of it? How did you get the other like 20, 30, 40 chapters out of there?
So this is gonna sound wild.
Okay. I'm
This is gonna
ready.
sound
I'm ready.
wild. Um, so before I actually write the book, because again, I had the idea for like 3 years. I'm like, man, I wish somebody would write this. I
Yeah.
wish somebody would make this movie. Like, I need to see the end, you know? And
Mhm.
of course, nobody's gonna know to write it. Nobody can like look inside my little pea brain and be like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me just pluck that out. You know, like, there's nobody that's gonna know that. But I just kept getting that, right? And so whenever I finally decided to write this idea, it was because I was at work. I work security.
Mhm.
So I do have like, military security, and then the characters are all for the sake of censorship, serial people deleters,
Okay.
for hire.
Yes.
They all are very well trained. Think like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, very well trained in their field. And I have had, like jobs where I'm security and I'm like fighting people, and I'm so that was easy for me. Like that part was easy, but like I didn't know I was gonna write it until I was like at work.
Yeah.
I just dealt with something, and I put my headphones back in because I'm tired, and I'm like, how dare this person do this? Make me do my job, okay? And a song came on, and in that moment, the song came on, and I like closed my eyes and I saw the whole book play out like a movie, like
Okay.
from that dream to like, and I say like the whole book, the end again, like the end just did not come to me. I was like, I don't know if I want to write a book in which I don't know the answer to the end.
Right.
And then I was like, well, it's a mystery, it's a thriller, it's maybe I also want to be surprised. Okay,
Mhm.
maybe I want, like if I know everything, is the reader going to be able to guess everything too? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I kind of want some sense of I'm writing this, and I'm like, this character did not just say this. I
Yeah.
did not just find this out about my own character.
Yes. Yeah. That sense of discovery as you're writing, you're like, that was
Yes,
completely unexpected. I can't believe you did that. Like, but I like it. I like
absolutely.
it.
And I feel
Yeah.
like whenever you get that, it
Mhm.
almost feels like your character is brought more to life,
Yes,
like they
100%.
actually have their own personality and not just what you made them. And
Agree.
so there were several times where like when I started writing the book, I wrote the first 3 chapters because I had that. I
Hmm.
knew that. And then this is really weird. I know like I'm semi-pantser, semi-plotter, but like once I know like the basic storyline, I'm like, this is what I want to happen. I know I want this. I know I want this. I know I want this. And even if they're, this happens in the 3rd chapter, this is going to happen in chapter 10, this will happen in chapter 15,
Yeah.
12, 18, 20, 30, like I will start writing. I don't care how much it comes to me. Maybe it's only 2 paragraphs, maybe it's a line,
Okay.
maybe it's 4 pages, but I will write that scene out in whatever way I can, way
That's
ahead of time.
that's really
And then it's
smart.
connecting the dots,
Yes.
like I know I need to get them here, and then I know I need to get them here.
Hmm.
And along the way, of course, some details change. There's a scene in the book that takes place in a completely different spot than I originally wrote it.
Right.
A completely different place, like inside versus outside. And I'm like, how did we get?
How did we get here? But it works.
How did?
Again, yeah, you just make those changes as you go.
Yes.
When I have a new idea, I always have to like tell myself the story first, and it ends up being like a
Mhm.
20-page synopsis almost, where I just go in and I'm like, okay, and then they're gonna go here, and there's gonna be like a big fight, and some of it's really vague, but then every now and then there's those really specific details that I'm like, this absolutely has to happen. Um, and that's I have to do that, or else I can't like function and draft a book.
Mhm. It's hard, and I'm semi the same way, of course,
Mhm.
because I have to write down these plot points and be like, if I don't write this down, it's like mentally I can't picture continuing this
Yeah.
story if I don't know where they're going. The only exception for that was obviously the end of the book, and it's very, very big. Again, we're thinking, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, their final fight scene, right?
Yes.
Or you're thinking maybe think, the scene in Mockingjay when they're in the tunnels and the mutts start
Mhm.
coming, and like we're thinking like high intensity, high
Yes.
action, like you don't know what's gonna happen.
No, that sounds
And
awesome.
that's kind of like the end of that book where I had no complaints on like the climax of that book where they're like,
Excellent. What was the song? I'm dying to know what the song was that you listened to.
Game of Survival by Ruel.
That is a great song. That's actually on one of my current soundtracks for one of the books I'm drafting. So
I always make a whole playlist.
yeah, and I
As soon
love
as I heard
Ruel.
that
Like
song, I was
Ruel is
like,
just such good writing music.
mm-hmm. Yeah, such amazing. Even on my current book, she has a
Mhm.
couple of songs.
Yeah.
Ruel and Clergy kind of
Yes.
pushed a lot in the first book, I will say. And now in this book, the soundtrack, I think she might have one song on this
Okay.
book, but like Aurora is
Mhm.
a heavy driving bass for the book that I'm writing right
Yeah.
now. And I
You
love
have
that. I love
excellent
I love
musical
that.
taste, by the way. Like,
Thank you. I listen to a lot of everything. I'm very,
yeah.
very, very musically cultured, I guess,
Yes.
because my parents liked a whole bunch of different things. My friends liked a whole bunch of different things, and I
Mhm.
was in the military, and everybody liked a whole bunch of different things. So I
Yeah.
like a little bit of every genre. My
Mhm. Yeah, and I feel
my
like music changes so much, like based on your emotion. Like there are some days when I'm like,
mhm.
I want something really hard and heavy and fast, and sometimes I'm like, no, I need some peaceful piano today because I got a zen. I'm
Absolutely.
yeah, very much a mood listener for me. Yeah. Um, so what has kind of been like one of your biggest learning curves in the self-publishing field? Like if you could go back and give the pre-published version of yourself advice, what would it be?
I do not give myself enough grace. I feel like I knew I knew my book wasn't going to blow up overnight. And
Mhm.
like I feel like you can kind of tell, and like whenever you're marketing, how much something's getting pushed, how many people are seeing it, like how
Right.
well it's gonna do. Um, and I was for Dead by Dusk, like the when I only had Dead by Dusk to market.
Mhm.
I started out with posting once or twice a day, every day for the whole week, every
Oh
week.
wow,
It
that's
was
such a
every day. I
commitment.
was posting all the time. I was at work. Let me make something real quick.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll make a couple of stuff so I don't have to make it tomorrow because I know I'm gonna be busy tomorrow. And it was draining me.
Yeah.
It was creatively too. I was like, it doesn't matter that I've already written it. It doesn't matter that I've already been here. And like in my head, I'm like, I can easily make a post about this. I know my characters. I can make a post about them. It's not that easy. It's not that
No.
easy. I feel
And
like
once it starts like kind of sucking that joy out, it's hard to do it. It's hard to
it
keep on
was
top of it. Yeah.
because I am such a like I'm like a people watcher in terms of being online. I don't ever post anything. So like posting picture like most
Yeah.
of the pictures of my face that are like online or oh my psychopath dog. He wants outside.
Okay.
What's
We can pause.
no.
Okay. I love this. I love this. We're going on a journey, everybody. This is an adventure.
Okay. And
Oh
there's
my gosh.
Oakley.
Hello. Beautiful. And
She
who
is
is this?
gorgeous. And then Abu. This is Oakley.
Okay.
Oakley
Hello.
Ann. She's the princess of the household. And then Abu, are you gonna come over here? He hates the camera.
Oh,
But
hello. Yes.
my little love.
Oh my goodness. They're doing great. They're
Hmm.
doing great. They're the stars right there.
They are. They are. Honestly, sometimes when I don't know what to make, I'm just like, oh, if I post a picture with my dogs,
Yes.
it'll do okay.
Yeah, pets always sell, always. Pets are great marketing.
Oh, baby.
And hopefully, do they help you write? Do they give you ideas?
Yes, actually.
Excellent.
So
Make them
Abu's
earn
always
their keep.
cuddling me. Abu is always cuddling me.
Mhm.
Um, but there's a part in Dead by Dusk at the very end, because when I was writing, and Abu's always cuddling me, every now and then he would, like look at me, he put his face on the keyboard,
Yes.
or he'd start putting his paws and start like little happy paws. And so I actually kept that every time he did that. I copied and I pasted it at the bottom of the document. And it did go into the final copy of my
Oh my
book as a note from my dog.
gosh.
Um,
That is
and I've gotten several comments on that. But
that's amazing.
yeah,
I
no, I
really,
keep
oh
them
my God,
around.
I want to do that. I want that to happen. Yes.
Hmm. Every now and then I'll leave my like laptop open and
Mhm.
I'll walk away and I'll come back and he'll have gone from like laying down on the ottoman to sitting right in front of my laptop and like looking at it. And I have like these pictures. I always take pictures because I'm like, nobody will believe me.
Right.
Nobody will believe me if I do not capture it right now. So he's very involved in the process. Oakley, she's just there to look pretty.
That's
She's,
amazing. That should be like that should just be your author photo is him sitting right in front of the keyboard.
you know what? I like the way
Yes.
you think. I like the
Um,
way.
I have a picture of my cat doing that, like sitting right in front of my keyboard, and just everything about it totally looks like she is editing. And then she like looks back
Mhm.
over me, and I got a picture of that. She's like, "You're interrupting the process. Go away." And I'm like, "Okay,
Yes.
fix this. Find the
Hmm.
pothole. Make it better."
Yep.
Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? Sometimes I'll start talking to them. I'm like, somebody's
yeah,
gonna think I'm crazy. I'm like, my FBI agent that's watching me, he's just, I
right.
know he's maybe slightly concerned for my health.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
thinks I should be institutionalized.
Same, same. The
But
things that the conversations I have with my dog, absolutely. Yes.
but sometimes I'll ask Oakley a question. Me and my brother will do it all the time. But like when I'm creatively, I'm like, I could go this way or I could go this way. And I'll look at her and I'm like, okay, Oakley, what do you think? Should this happen? And she'll just kind of, I'm like, or
Yeah.
should this happen? And she'll start smiling and her tail will be wagging. I'm like, you don't say. Okay. Okay,
That's
lady
so
with
smart.
taste.
Yeah. I mean, not only does your dog obviously have a very good sense of writing and plot structure, but just talking those
Absolutely.
ideas out, like even when you talk to an animal, I feel like we solve so many problems when we start to verbalize them in the writing world.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, because there are times like
Um,
I'll run into something and I'll go into my DMs with like my writing group and I'm like, okay, here's the situation. What do I do? And by the time I explain it all, I'm like, oh, never mind, I solved it. And then they come into the chat
yeah.
like 2 hours later and they're like, all right, glad we could help.
Hmm. I'm usually, yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I have a coworker. and he reads a lot. He's an avid reader, and he did read my first book. As soon as it published, he bought it, read it, loved it. I'm like, thank you. Like, I know he loved it because he actually made the effort to make a review everywhere, like Amazon, Goodreads,
Mhm.
Storygraph, like everywhere he had downloaded for a review, he went ahead and wrote one.
Love that.
So I'm like, you know how hard it is to get anybody to do that?
Yes,
Hard.
incredibly hard. I try
Um,
to, and then I'm like, I just can't keep up. Like, I get so distracted by other things because all of a sudden, like, if I'm on Amazon leaving a review, I'm like,
mhm,
wait, maybe I should look at like new pens, and I just start opening up another tab, and I
mhm,
completely forget what I'm doing. So
yep. Mhm.
sorry.
But I talk to my coworkers all the time. I'm like, hey, I could go so many different ways right now. I have a way in my brain that feels correct, but
Mm,
I need sometimes writers are blind.
yeah,
Sometimes writers are incredibly blind because they see what they want to see and they don't really think about anything else.
yeah, you need that
And
outside
then
perspective.
I think that's why, like some people go through so many drafts is
Hmm.
because they're like they think they know, and then suddenly they're like, what did I do? Right there.
And it's
And
always something
I don't like
simple.
going back and thinking about that. I don't
Yeah.
like that. Like when I go in and I edit before my editor, I don't want to be like, why did I write this? Why did I go there? I need to change everything. No, no, I could not. I personally, I could not. I'd rather talk it out, figure
Mhm.
it out for myself, and then write it. And thankfully, whenever I wrote Dead by Dusk, zero plot holes because I'm
That's good.
so first time around, first go around,
Yeah.
zero plot holes because I'm such a perfectionist when writing. Grammatically, am I gonna have my issues?
But that's like
Probably.
everybody. I have a friend, and she would go through, she's an AP English teacher, and she would go through my drafts with her red pen and just be like,
Mhm.
you have passive voice. You don't need this to be verb. You don't, and like it was like a massacre had happened on the page. But
Mhm.
I appreciate every bit of help she has given
Yes.
because now I know how to use dialogue tags. When at first I did not. I'm like, I don't know. You just put a punctuation there. I don't know how it works. Um, and she
And
would get so
it's
frustrated.
enlightening for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Like
Um,
that's what a copy editor's for. That's their job. I'm just the ideas.
yeah, no,
That's it.
I was very happy that when it came down to sending out my book to beta readers,
Mm,
I was like, I don't think there's a plot hole. Because again, like in my first draft, I'm such a perfect. It's not just write it
yeah.
down, fix it later. I am a perfectionist. I like my ideas to feel fully formed before I
Mm.
move on to the next chapter. Um, and so when I got to the beta readers, most of their issue was just like, oh, you forgot a period here. I think I know what word this is, but I'm going to point it out. What do
That's
you
such an
mean?
awesome problem to have, though.
What?
Like that's phenomenal.
Yes, and like I'm like, thank the Lord. And again, I think that goes back to me having grace on myself.
Mm,
Whenever it takes me a little longer to write one chapter than another, I'm like, it never takes me this long. Okay, well, I'm also a perfectionist, so give myself the grace. Give
mhm.
myself the grace. Like I have a very busy schedule. I work shift work, 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
Like I'm sometimes it's hard for me to post content, and I need to give myself that grace. I know
Yes.
the algorithm doesn't like it, but I need to be okay with it.
Yes.
And
That's so
I'm
smart.
really bad at giving myself that grace. And I wish I would, me now, could just tell baby me, like, hey, it's not going to blow up overnight.
Mhm. Yeah.
It
It takes
still
you got
hasn't.
to build
That
that
doesn't mean it's bad.
momentum. Yeah.
Yes. You've got great reviews. You've made great friends.
Mhm.
Your content doesn't suck. The algorithm is just really mean.
The algorithm is
Give
absolutely
yourself the grace. Calm down,
yeah.
you know? And I think I would love to tell myself, like, when I just started writing, be like, hey, calm down. You don't need to post every day.
Mhm.
Save these, post twice a week,
Yeah.
maybe 3 times a week. Give yourself that grace.
Mhm.
You don't need to. You're doing
That's
too
smart.
much.
And with that like retrospective outlook, you now you know. So hopefully
Hmm.
all the new and emerging writers that are listening in take that to heart. Remember, you don't have to do it every
Absolutely.
single day.
Yes, and I think part of me really thought once I have a second book to market, it'll be easier to make content.
Mhm.
I want to tell you that's not that's not the truth either. Okay. And I'm like, I'm sitting here like I still try to post 2, 3 times a week. Sometimes what I really like to do is get one post one day for one book. The next time it'll be the other book. And the next Next time, I like to do 2 posts in one day, one for each book.
Okay.
Um, and that's what I like to do. Does that always happen? No.
No.
Give myself the grace. Give myself the
Yeah.
grace.
And
It's
that's
not always going
important
to
to like
happen. Sometimes.
to figure out like what you're comfortable with and how you want to do that. Because I know I was trying to do like a bookstagram account because I did love taking pictures of my books,
Mhm.
right? And I tried to do like 3 posts a week and it wasn't working. So I had to back it down. I was like, okay, I can do 2. And that worked for me. But then I stopped like 2 years ago. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Also, I was like making all this content in advance. I was like, I really know what my book's gonna be like. My next book, I know exactly. But the only issue with that was I wasn't just working on one book. I was working on 2. I had a whole second idea where I was like, I'm gonna write both of these books at the same time
Ooh,
and get them both
fascinating.
published by the end of the year.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Yes. Because I also feel like
As I
this is my
started
next
writing
question
both,
for you, which is just like I want to hear about your writing process. So here we go.
my okay. So for Dead by Dusk, I kind of already explained how that one went. Um, but for this one, and I actually, if you scroll down on my Instagram,
Mm.
you'll see I did 2 book announcements at the same time, and I had already started writing them. I'd already started writing both of them, and I was giving pretty equal attention to both too. And it was whenever I got creatively stumped with one, which was typically after a couple chapters. Just like there's still new characters to me.
Yeah.
I know the basic plot line of where the story is gonna go, but I don't. I hadn't had that moment that I had with Dead by Dusk for either of them yet. So it wasn't like I didn't have dreams about them. I didn't listen to one song and just
Yeah.
see the whole thing. It was a slow start. Like I had these in-depth ideas for both books. I was equally excited about both of them. I was like, I can do it. I can do it. I know where it's going enough.
Yeah.
And the whole saying, like writers pour so much of themselves into their books, like absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In each of my books, there's like different pieces of me. Not like full pieces, but different pieces where I'm
Mhm.
like, I would love, a character that's flawed because of this. Or I would love a plot line where this happens, and I put that in there. I'm like, this is little pieces of me, and I'm sharing it with the world. And if they hate it, well, I'm not necessarily happy with it either. But like it's life, and life's
Right.
not perfect. It's messy, it's flawed, and I feel like giving characters that same grace that we need to give ourselves is very important in books sometimes. I know people say
Agreed.
I like to read to escape.
Yeah.
You can escape in flawed characters, and you can get those lessons through those characters. Like if
Mhm.
they can get the ending that they want and that you think you deserve, and they have these flaws, guess what? So can you. So can you.
Bingo. Yes. I love it.
Perfect people aren't the only people allowed to have happy endings.
No. No.
But
I love a good flawed character. And when they kind of like maintain those flaws, I'm like, yes,
mhm.
continue on.
In Dead by Dusk, Celine is a heavily flawed character, and a lot of people loved her.
Hmm.
I do read the reviews. I do read, like, I think most of the time they're very constructive, and that's why I like to do it. It's like, what could I have done better? Because at one point, am I probably gonna do semi redo Dead by Dusk? Yes, not completely, not completely. I love my story. I love my story. Okay, it's not getting a full. I mean, like I'm doing an interior makeover, and I do plan to do a prequel. And
Okay.
I've thought about maybe adding the prequel into the physical, like the first book itself.
Mhm.
Um, and kind of think, Assassin's Blade, where you get like 4 or 5 different prequels in one book.
Yes.
I was gonna give them each their story, like
Mhm.
each of the characters, their small little story and a build up before what happens in the book. So you can kind of see how they got there, not just see little moments and like little this is how. Like I would love to give that reader that grace. Am I gonna do it soon? Probably not. Probably not. I have so many ideas. Too
Yeah.
many
But
ideas.
maybe we'll get there
Obviously,
like
I
one
thought I
day.
could
Yeah.
work on 2 books at the same time. So like it's probably not gonna happen for another year
Hmm.
before I even do that. Do I already have the ideas? Do I already know their stories? Absolutely.
Yeah. No,
That
that's
doesn't change the fact I have too much going on in this brain. I need
yeah.
some of it released. Some of it released.
I can't do 2
But
stories at one time. I can only work on one. Full respect to people who can like jump between stories. I Like, God bless your heart. I don't know how you do it.
I was doing pretty good. I had the prologue for both stories,
Hmm.
which are both about the same length. I feel like they're both about, if you put them on an actual page, probably 2 or 3 pages
Yeah.
each. Um, they're both pretty equal in size, and I had gotten the first couple of chapters for both before I realized I was like, man, like I can do this, but I was like, I need to give myself the grace. I don't have to release both of these by the end of the year. I can release one by the end of the year,
Mhm.
and then at some point, the first, 3, 4 months, the next
Right.
year, release that one. And so I was already like, okay, which one do I prioritize? Because that means I need to prioritize one a little bit
Mhm.
more. And Beautiful Dangerous Things just happened to be that one. And again, it was just a song. It was a song.
Yeah.
It
What
was a
song?
song.
Tell us the song.
And
We're getting
I
all
always
the
get the
good song
name.
recommendations from you today.
Oh, I have all the recommendations. You tell me what you want. I've helped several people. Several people have asked me for like, they're like, you have so many good songs on your Instagram. Like I was like, what are you looking for? What are the vibes? Let me put you on to some
Like, I
really
got
good
you. I can
artists.
curate a list. Absolutely.
Absolutely. My phone's acting so slow, but I'm going to continue while I'm looking. But it was really, once I found that song, I was like, okay, and we're in. It's a go. I already had a playlist
Okay.
of the vibes that I wanted, but once that song played, and it was like a surreal moment because like water plays a big role in this book. Like water is very throughout the book. I was in the shower and the song came on, and I was like, I feel like I'm getting like showered and story right now. I feel like
Showers
I'm
are the
very.
best place. Like that was a magical moment because you had the
Mhm.
song and being in the shower, and that is a magical place for every writer. 100%.
Absolutely. The song was "The Water Is Fine," Crimson Edition by Chloe Ament.
Yes.
Um,
That's
and
also
then right
on my
after
playlist
that,
for my current story. So we're like
mhm.
vibing here. This is twinning. I love it.
And then right after that song, because I already had the playlist, right? And it was a very short playlist at the time, but I already had one.
Mm,
That song was not on it originally. I didn't know that song yet, not really. But I had, Spotify on the Smart Shuffle. So it'll play the songs on your
yeah.
playlist, but it would mix in songs that you don't know
Yes.
that you might like.
Yeah.
And so that one had come on. And then the next one, which was on my playlist, was Me and the Devil by Soap and Skin. And that played immediately after. And I was like, and the whole book. And the whole
Just
book. And
the
again,
vision
the
came.
end, obviously not the end, everything but the end. But I was like, this is enough. This is enough for me to be like, this is the one I'm focusing on. Because I hadn't had that moment with the other book yet.
Mm,
And I was like, if I focus on writing this one, next year
yeah.
at some point, I'll write this one. Now, do I have 3 other book ideas that have come into my mind?
Yeah.
Possibly. I'm not going to say there are 7 book
Allegedly.
ideas scrummaging in
Allegedly.
my brain right now
Yeah.
for the center of attention. There are. Um, but I really try to push myself to focus on one right now because I
Mm,
think that's the only way for me personally that I'm going to get the best story possible.
yeah.
Um,
No, that makes
and
so just to go back, you say that like you kind of don't know the end until you get there. And I find that fascinating because once I come up with a character and kind of like a main conflict, I immediately know how I want it to end. And I don't just know the end, like I know the epilogue. Like I will go 10 years into that character's like situation or life, and I'm like, this is exactly where they're gonna end up and what's gonna happen. And so like at what point do you normally find the ending for your characters?
I feel like, so for Dead by Dusk, I knew pretty early on, I was like, if you look at my aesthetic reels too, you can see like very early on that there's an added aesthetic. And I was like, in one way or another, this is going to end in fire. Like this is gonna
Okay.
end in fire. Something is gonna end in fire. My poor baby. It's okay. It's
Do they
not
want to
so
come
sad.
back in?
Yeah, he is looking at me like I've murdered his whole bloodline and then told him he was adopted.
You are
Okay,
betraying
like
him. Yes,
I'm just like, Doug, if I wasn't on here with you, he would not want back inside.
of course. Yeah, that's accurate. That's accurate.
um, and now he's walked away, so it's okay. Um, but So for Dead by Dusk, I knew in some sort of way it was gonna end on fire. I
Mhm.
didn't know to what extent, what exactly was gonna happen, but I was just like in my head vivid. I was like fire, and that's like in the cover you see it go from like red to blue, kind of smoky to like
Mhm.
forest, and that was like before I knew the ending. I knew it was gonna end on fire, and I was like, I really want that to be kind of portrayed in the cover and the color scheme, very intense colors. With my main girl, my main man, and her weapon of choice. Okay, like
Okay. Every word that's coming out
um
of your mouth is fantastic, and I love that sentence. Like main guy, main girl, weapon of choice. That's
absolutely.
yes.
And for this one, I'm closing in on the end of the story. And I thought I had the ending figured out at about 50, 60%. I was like, oh, this is gonna happen. When I tell you, when I tell you 20,000 words after that, I was like, oh no. Oh,
Ding.
oh no. And like I fully, what have I done? Like, and now it's almost like a dread. Like there's like a sense of dread as I'm writing where I'm like, God, this story is amazing. I love adding in these characters, this
Mhm.
atmosphere, and I had people made to read the first half of the book as when I after I finished it. And I was like, y'all will stay connected to the document, like so whenever I finish a new chapter, I will drop one afterwards.
Yeah.
So if you don't get to the end until I'm three more chapters past that, then you get a little bit more. You can come check in on whenever you want, or I'll message you when it's finished and you can come back and read the rest.
Mhm.
And they're loving the atmosphere and the whole vibes setting. And it makes me feel like I was like, okay, it's as vivid as it is in my mind. It is as vivid as it is in my mind. It's playing out perfectly, with the exception of I know what the ending is now, and it's making me dread,
Ooh.
pure dread for what's gonna come. And there's four point of views in this book, and Dead by Dusk there's only two. So it's also I'm like I got to keep up with the characters. I can't
Yeah.
stay away from one too long because the whole first half of the book we only had the main female's character point of view, and then past tense her mother's point of view.
Okay.
Um, so it's kind of like a shift in time. Um, and I don't know if you've read. It's the only book I know that really does this frequently, but The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, where
Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah.
goes,
Yeah.
we see her present tense, and then we get like,
The past.
you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
past. And so that's kind of what I did with this one, where it's like like I gave the first, I think, 10 chapters to her, and then I gave her mother, and it was a very short one,
Yeah. You
very
just kind
short
of slip
chapter,
them in
but
there.
like
Yeah.
feeding her answers because she's in search of these answers this whole time. And the only one that has the answers in her mind is her mother, who
Right.
she's realized lied to her whole life. Um, and I was like, it's really fun, like spoon feeding these little truths as she needs them right before she gets them. And so you're reading and you're like, oh no, what is she doing? Like it's like a sense of dread for the main female character after. Or like curiosity. It's like, oh, what did she do? What did
Right.
mama do? What what did mama do? You
Yeah.
know?
And it answers questions, but it creates them, which is I think a tough
Yes.
to do sometimes with books is like because you wanted to leave those breadcrumbs, but every now and then
Yes.
you have to give us a full piece of bread, or else we're just going to stop reading.
Absolutely. And I try to answer them as I create more. I keep them
Mm.
like all in my mind. And even now, when I'm so close to the end of the book, I go back. I go
Yeah.
back to make sure there's nothing I left unanswered because like I can always add it in now. I can always add this detail in now.
Right.
And it's honestly my favorite part. I think it's why both Dead by Dusk and this one have a sense of mystery. Like, I don't really see that a lot in fantasy books where it's like this mysterious, like mystery based of like I need these answers,
Yeah.
fed to me. I know every book does, like every author deserves, like their praise for their ability to be like create these
Mhm.
intricate, plot lines more so than I can do as a pantser sometimes. But like I love that I'm constantly able to give an answer while offering up three more questions
Yeah.
because I feel like it keeps the reader interested.
It
Um,
does. It does. And that is a
and
skill that a lot of authors, I think, struggle with. So, like, absolutely kudos to you for being able to do that.
try my best. But it's why I needed so many point of views for this book. I was like, there are so many key players
Right.
that we need. And it's such an interesting, like, because the fantasy comes in a dreamscape. And, like there's her mother who made a bargain that she didn't understand,
Okay.
or she thought she could work around. Um, and then, kind of screws her daughter over, a price she wasn't willing to pay, she pushes onto her daughter kind of
Mm.
vibes. And then we have the person we have her mother, we have her daughter, who doesn't know anything about this. She's never dreamed in her life until the passing of her mother, which we get in the first chapter. That's not a
Fascinating.
spoiler.
Okay.
That's it. It's in a synopsis. It's not a spoiler, I swear. Okay.
No, 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 no.
Um,
These are all like really fascinating details that I mean, it's making me want to like pick this book up. So, yeah.
Thank you. But she doesn't know, and then her mother passes, and suddenly she's dreaming for the first time, and she doesn't know what a dream's supposed to look or feel like. She doesn't know what's happening to her, and she ends up meeting this very mysterious man who's almost more shadow than man. Like he's more
Okay.
shadow than man. She doesn't know what he looks like. But she's always been ostracized pretty much from her town. Like very odd. It's set in the 1920s, 1930s.
Hmm.
Um, so like, right now, somebody who looks maybe more albino, wouldn't really be thought of as like weird or odd, or wouldn't be cast
Hmm.
out. It's more common for people to have, odd looks sometimes. Something that we're not necessarily used to.
Yeah.
But
There's a
back
lot more
then,
diversity now. Yeah.
freak, freak, witch, like
Okay.
whatever you want to label it as, she was not good, like ghostly pale skin, white hair. Her
Mhm.
eyes are described as like moonlight and icicles, like so like glacier almost, like she just a lack of color. It looks
Mhm.
like she's dead almost, And their minds, and the small town, kind of minds, that's almost what she was. And so she's always been cast out. She's never had anybody. And
Right.
she falls into this dreamscape, and she meets somebody who she almost feels like she can relate to, like who doesn't, get a lot of company in one sense. Time moves differently in this dreamscape, like for
Mhm.
her, the amount of time she's sleeping is what's passing for her. But in this world, it's like she's there for 8 hours, but it's actually days, weeks, like that
Okay.
she's there.
Yeah.
And she doesn't realize it, like the extent. He tells her, you have a choice. This world will kill you. It will kill you.
Well, yeah, because
You
if you
can keep
stay
coming
asleep
back.
like that long, you're gonna die because you're not eating
Yes.
or drinking. Oh my goodness. Okay.
He's like, this world will kill you. And it's her soul that's traveling. It's,
Mhm.
like astral projection almost.
Yeah.
Her soul is traveling to this other realm. And he's like, the longer you're here, your soul like kind of goes through like a destruction of sense. Um, most people who come here and go through that kind of turn into beasts almost. Like they don't remember who they are.
Mhm.
They're filled with rage, they're filled with sorrow, and like that's what you will turn into.
Oh
He's
wow.
like, very few have turned into something more. And she's like you. And he said, nobody's like me. Pretty much. Nobody's like me. We don't really know who or what he is, but we
Yeah.
know that he doesn't react to the land the same way as she does. And she, like she doesn't have her mother anymore. She doesn't have anybody. So she's like, I'd rather experience this world every time I sleep, like keep coming back, be here with you, than continue living in a world for the rest of my life that will never accept
Doesn't
me.
yeah, that
You
doesn't want
know,
her.
and so she does that, but like every time she dreams, little things spill out into reality. It's almost an aspect of you watch like Insidious and you see them astral projecting. When they do, demons come for
Mm.
them, and humane spirits, if you will. And that's kind of what she starts experiencing. Every time she wakes up, something's amiss in her household. Something looks like it's trying to get closer to her, but can't quite get there before she wakes up. But every time they're getting closer and closer and closer. And, like windows are open, doors are open, something's broken, something's torn to shreds, it's just getting closer and closer and closer. And she doesn't know what it is. It's even in her reality, in her day to day life, like it almost feels like something's haunting her everywhere she goes.
Mhm. Yeah, this is great tension.
And
The tension, like as you keep saying all these things, I'm like, okay, like I'm starting to
it,
feel.
like it gets like it just builds and builds and
Yeah.
builds. And so like the only reprieve that she has is when she's in these dreams, which keeps pulling her back because he's
Mhm.
so charming and he calls her lovely and beautiful. And she's like, wow. And they're both touch starved, so touch starved. Like that was like
Yes.
a beta reader comment was like, they touch a lot, and I'm like, they are both very, very starved for touch. Okay, like it's okay, it's
Yeah.
okay.
And it's a
But we
romance. Like
don't get his
romance,
point
like
of
you
view
have a lot of
until
touching. Like that's what's supposed to happen. Those little, like the little hands and like, yeah,
yes, 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 yes. Like I mean, they don't kiss until like the second half of the book, anyways. So
beautiful.
like they have all these touches, and he's charming her and everything like that. But we don't get any. We don't get the first and only kiss until the second half of the book.
Oh my goodness. That is a long time to wait. But as a lover of slow burns, like I'm here for it. So
Um, his point of view doesn't come until him, and there's one other point of view. I'm not gonna say who it is or what it is. But there have two male point of views. And they don't even come until the second half of the book either. We get the first whole half where it's just the two women. Even the prologue is in the mother's point of view,
yeah.
and it's her making a bargain. And it pretty much ends with him saying, like my help is going to come with a price. And then we go into the first chapter where it's pretty much the main female character is getting ready to go to her mother's funeral,
Yeah. Wow.
26 years after the prologue. Um, And so, like, there's 26 years of questions, like, obviously,
Yeah.
that she's going to be having. And she doesn't know that she should be having them until
Until her
stuff
mom's
starts
gone.
happening.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Um, so it definitely needs all four point of views. Her mother, the person on the other side of the bargain, the main female character,
Hmm.
and then the one extra character who is the only person that's not able to go into the dreamscape. And so this person, I'll say he knew both women. He knew both women very well, very well.
Okay.
Um, and that's all I can say. That's all I'll say on
This
that
is this
matter.
is extremely intriguing. So you've described this book as being like a Beauty and the Beast meets Labyrinth meets Alice in Wonderland. So I kind of feel like the Alice in Wonderland is definitely coming in like in this dreamscape that is just
Yes,
topsy turvy, Mad Hatterish. Like things aren't what they.
absolutely.
Okay, tell me a little bit more. I'm really, really interested in the Labyrinth comparison because as like a
Labyrinth
Labyrinth,
is
yeah. Like so, can you just like give us a
um
little bit more? Is this what like our shadow figure? Is he kind of like
yes.
okay?
That's kind of our shadowy figure, as well as like the bargains, like the Demon King and Labyrinth, the bargains, the way time works,
Yes.
which time, depending on which version of Alice in Wonderland, time works
Yeah.
the way into it, but so does Labyrinth. Labyrinth and time
Yes.
are both, or Labyrinth and Alice in Wonderland are both big plays on the way time affects different
Mhm.
realities
Yeah,
and
and they have
different
a lot of
places that
those
you
like
go.
places and areas in them. Like I remember when Sarah's on the steps, like trying to get
Yeah.
up, like they're upside down and it's crazy. And that scene makes my head spin, but it's so gorgeous. I love it.
Yes.
So, okay. Yeah.
So I definitely think the way that time works, the shadowy figure are both really big key plays in Labyrinth. Also the more paranormal aspect where,
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland's fantasy, we do get the paranormal draw of Labyrinth, like the
Yeah.
dark, gothic, eerie, like vibes of Labyrinth.
Give me
A
the
lot.
Goblin King. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Our male main character is not a Goblin King, but he's definitely not human either. So
This. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna have to read it. So just when is it gonna be available for us to buy?
so the official release as of right now is December 27th. It
Okay.
will not be a day later than 27th. I will be in the middle of a move, so maybe, just maybe, I might drop it a
Earlier.
couple days early, like a little Christmas surprise. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sweet.
But the ARC signups are available right now,
All right.
and the ARCs will be sent the very first week of November.
Mhm.
Um, so if anybody wants to get a jump on it early,
Yes.
it might
Yes, that's
behoove
that's going to
them.
be on your website, which is going to be linked below Scribbler, so
Yes.
you can sign up for that. And I know I'm going to go sign up for that because I have a lot of questions that need answered now.
Oh yeah, there's
I'm gonna
lots
read
of
it.
questions, and really, I'm dreading the end.
Oh,
I'm dreading the end.
see, if you're dreading it, then I'm looking forward to it because I feel like when authors dread their endings, it is going to be so good and so devastating
Yeah.
that we're really going to like it.
Yes. I think the only thing is it is like a doomed romance. Like there's in no world could it ever end in them being happy together.
I love this even
And
more.
that's like that's for some people that's a hard no, where like they need
Yeah.
a happily ever after. I get it, I understand. Could not be me. Destroy me, wreck my soul. Okay,
Same.
take
I
it.
love
Here,
unhappy endings. I'm like, they don't get to be together. Oh my God, this is so much better than if they did. Rip my
after all
brain.
the build up too, all the
Yes.
build up, and my villain is semi redeemable, and I've made it very clear in my marketing the male main character is the villain in the story.
Mm,
Um, the villain, but like honestly, really could be anybody if you like depending on your perspective.
right.
Depending on your perspective, you could really read it and be like, the mom is the villain.
I love that. I love like that
Like,
ambiguity sometimes. Like everybody
yes,
has their own role to play as far as being the bad guy.
yes,
Again, like one of my favorite things in books where I'm like,
hmm
all of these people are horrible.
yes, and it's really just the main female character paying the price for everybody's actions other than her own.
Hmm.
Like, and I love it. I know, again, like I've encountered a lot of readers that are like, oh, this looks really promising, but I only read when there's a happy ever after. Can't do
Right.
it. I'm like, you are missing out because the scene that's played in my head no less than 1,000 times in the past week alone of the end has destroyed me on so many levels. It's making it really hard to write this ending.
Yeah. Trust me, your readers are out there because I am part of that demographic and we are ready. So
Hmm
I can't
I
wait.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I also can't
So
wait.
you've talked a little bit about like you have your coworker who reads and you have like a document with some of your beta readers in there like watching as you put things in and giving you feedback.
Mhm.
What does the rest of your writing community look like, and how much have they helped or influenced you on your writing journey?
Okay. Well, first off, my parents. My parents.
Mm.
I love them. I'm gonna give them their 2 cents, and I usually, like I keep their name out of everything, but I have made a few like posts to my Instagram story. Like appreciation posts for them. I love them. They are deeply involved in my writing.
Thanks, mom
Um,
and dad. You're
my
doing a great
mom,
job.
well, my dad is really the one that pushed me. He was the final push into writing. He was the final one to push me, and I will admit that like if it were not for him, I would not have started writing Dead by Dusk. I probably wouldn't have finished it. I would have
I'm
gave up
so
on
glad.
myself.
I'm so glad that you did.
I'm really glad I did too. And my dad, he religiously he looks at the reviews for Dead by Dusk every time I have a new one. He's like, "You got a new review?" Like he knows before I do.
Mhm.
Um, and he's very, very, very supportive, very, very nice. And right now I'm renting out their house. They live
Okay.
abroad. So I'm taking care of their house for them. But obviously, like I'm sending them rent, so they don't have to make these payments. And every now and then, he's just like, "Take this out of rent, spend it on advertising your book. Take this out
Oh,
of rent, do this." He's
yeah.
like trying to support me in whatever way he can. Him
That's
and my mom
awesome.
both. My mom beta read and arc read Dead by Dusk.
Hmm.
She's beta reading Beautiful Dangerous Things right now, and she's loving it. I just called her on the phone today, and she's sick as a dog. But
Oh,
but she's like, I'm on chapter 3. I cannot breathe, and I'm in love.
oh, that poor thing.
And I'm just like, Mom, take a nap. take
So
revisit. Take a
are they
nap.
avid readers? Like, did they read a lot before
My
you
mom
or
used to. My
okay.
mom used to. She used to read all the time. Every now and then, she still listens to audiobooks. But she just doesn't. She's such a busybody. She
Yeah.
she she doesn't really get a lot of time in. My dad had never read a book in his adult life.
Oh wow.
He hates reading, and he started while I was reading Dead by Dusk. He loves Lord of the Rings. He's like, "Well, I'm going to start trying to read Lord of the Rings." I was like, "That is a book to start with. That is a hefty book
That
to
is.
start with." And we talked about it every day as I was writing. But as soon as my book was published,
Mhm.
he had a book at the house and he read it from start to finish. And he was literally like, I think this is going to happen. I think
That's so
this is the
cool.
traitor. I think this is. And he was like so invested, so like so invested in the book and the story. And he's like, I'm so glad I told you to write. He's like, I'm so glad you finished it. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you're continuing. Like, he has been amazing. And my
This is
mom
such a
also,
cool
like,
story
they're,
too, that like you kind of got him back into reading. So yes, I love it.
yes. And again, he's still not like a super big reader, but if I write something, he's reading it.
Yeah,
And I'm telling you guys, it's a good sign when somebody who's never finished a book finishes your book.
it is. This is very
Bam.
true.
If you're watching this, maybe. Anyways, besides my parents, again, they're both phenomenal. I really was just driving the force with my dad because he's the one that pushed me. But my mom, again, she reads everything first. She asks about it, updates just as much as does, and they both ask every day, like, how far are you in now?
Yeah.
Oh, I know you commissioned this art. I have like I'm on the books for 10 or 11 different art pieces for
Oh,
Beautiful
that's
Dangerous
so
Things that will go
yeah.
inside the book.
Hmm.
It'll be inside illustrations. And so like they ask, like the little updates. I'm like, I'm on the books for later this month. Stop. I'm already excited. Okay, like don't remind me that it's happening. Like I don't want to
I
remember
gotta
that it's
focus.
happening
I
until
gotta
the
do
artist
stuff.
messages
Yeah.
me. Until the artist messages me saying they're starting on the work, I don't want to remember that it's happening.
Right.
But I'm on the books with so many like different art pieces, and they're always, like, tell me about the art. Tell me where you're at. Don't tell me what's happening, but tell me where you're at,
Yeah.
percentage wise. Like they want zero spoilers for what's happening in this book because they're both super excited for it.
Right.
And I love that. Outside of them, I have obviously my current coworker, but before him,
Mhm.
there was a different coworker, and he was put in the acknowledgments of Dead by Dusk. My twin, where have you been, Kelly? I'll send him this link afterwards because he deserves to know. I keep yapping about him.
Yeah.
He was the one I was bouncing ideas for Get My Desk off of, and he didn't always know. He does not read. He's not a reader at all. And he would sit there and he'd listen to me bounce ideas off of him. And by the time I was done bouncing ideas off of him, I had it figured out. But he would listen and he'd be like, "Oh, this sounds cool." He's like, "I'm telling you, I'm gonna help support your next book." He's like, "I don't have the money now, but your next book, I'm helping support or fund in some sort of way." And so for my birthday, he sent me money for two very large commissions for this book because he knows I'm putting inside illustrations. And
Mhm.
then he's like, "Happy birthday.
Oh, that's so
I know you
sweet.
talked about, wanting more art for this book." And it's like art I probably would have been able to afford, like it's just an artist I wanted to work with.
Yeah.
It was like a little bit more, I don't want to say a little bit more expensive, but like just for like the scenes I was wanting her to do
Right.
specifically were very in depth, which made the piece more expensive.
Hmm.
And I was like, I really want this done, but I don't have the money for a piece this
Yeah.
crazy, this
And now
intense.
and now you
And he's
get
just
to.
like,
That's
here's the money.
awesome. Yes.
He's like, I told you I'd help fund it. I'm helping fund it. Here's the money. And
Mhm.
I was just like, Kelly, I love you. Like I love, and he really did. Like he moved. That's why he's not my coworker anymore. So I haven't even seen him in months, and we still talk. And he asked for updates on the book, and he
Oh, that's
goes and he
awesome.
likes all my content.
Yes.
He's like, I'm fighting the fight for you. I met somebody who reads, and I recommended your book.
And that is important. You need that street team out there, like doing that work, because word of mouth is always the best way
Yes,
to get readers.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
then he also bought my book as soon as it was released and
Hmm.
brought it to work so I could sign it for him. But no, I love him. I love my community. I do have a character in Dead by Dusk who is named after one of my friends.
Hmm.
And I was just explaining each character to her, and she's like, "That sounds kind of like me." That's how I would react. And I was like, "You know what? This is her name now." She's also in the contents of the book. She was my roommate at the time. She's married, living somewhere else now. But during the whole writing of Dead by Dusk, she was very invested, and she was my first beta reader, and she was reading as I wrote every chapter. As I wrote every
Yes.
chapter, she was reading it. And that was really nice because I needed a lot of almost like reassurance, really, that it was good,
Hmm.
like that I wasn't gonna fail at this. And so I would say those are some of my biggest supporters writing wise. my friend, one more. My friend Sissy.
Okay.
She's the one that got me back into reading. She's the one that. So I say my dad pushed me to write, but Sissy's the one that got me back to reading. So I wouldn't have even thought about writing if it weren't for her,
Right.
probably. Um, so she definitely deserves her thing. And my about the author page in Dead by Dusk, she actually wrote that.
Oh,
I
nice.
was like, I don't want to write. I don't want to tell people about me. I want you to tell people about me. I want you to describe to people who I am.
Mhm.
Like, and she wrote the most beautiful, touching little thing. She pretty much calls me sunlight. I was like, I love you. Like, have I told you
Yeah.
I love you?
Because that like
But
we will never give ourselves the same amount of credit that our loved ones will. Like our loved ones can always, like go that extra mile and be like, no, no, let
yes,
me tell you exactly how wonderful you are. And you're like, am I though? And they're like, yes, yes, you are.
am I really this? I think you're exaggerating a little bit.
Yeah, it's so hard,
And
but
I knew I couldn't. I'm really bad at talking like well about myself, and I was like, I can't do it about the author page. It'll be she likes chips, salsa, and queso. She reads sometimes.
which is also important. I mean,
Her brain is scary. That's scary in there. You don't want to know what's in there. You don't want to know what's in there. Okay? Like just take the books I give you and pretend that's all that's in there.
don't ask any questions. Just take it and read. That's it. That's it. No, it sounds like
Mm-hmm.
you have a really great community and support system around you, which is so important, I think, for writers to develop because
Yeah.
it's tough and it takes a while. Like you said, Dead by Dusk took you like 3 years to really get it all worked out. You
The
need
idea
people.
came to me 3 years prior, but
Yeah.
once I started writing it in June
Mhm.
of last year, and I was finished and had it in the hands of an editor by mid-October.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That is awesome.
But that idea sat with me for 3 years
Yeah.
before I even touched it.
Yeah. And you still like, you needed that encouragement. You needed those people to be like,
Yeah.
shouldn't you be doing that? Shouldn't you be writing? Maybe you should do this. So yeah, so really, really important. So we've talked a little bit about how like you post on Instagram to try to like build your readership, build your presence on social media. But what has been your actual best strategy for connecting with readers? Do you do a newsletter at all? Do you go to any in-person events? Like, how do you connect?
I haven't done any in-person events. I thought about it for the release of Dead by Dusk,
Mm,
and it was just more expensive than I could handle at the time. It was
yeah,
pricier than I could handle at the time. I'm like, I know my limits financially. I really don't want to put myself in a hole right
yeah,
now, especially because as soon as I finished writing Dead by Dusk, I started writing another book, and I was like, I know how much I want to put into this next book. Financially, it's not a good move.
yeah,
I do plan on doing once this next book is released. I'll probably do events and have both books, all the art prints, because I have not just artwork for Beautiful Dangerous Things in the works, but I have artworks for Dead by Dusk, and I'm
yeah,
trying to make sure I have the commercial license for everything so I can sell it. Um, but I definitely plan on once I have both books released, being able to do author events. I think it would be more. I think it would be better for me having more than
okay,
just
yeah.
one book out on
Oh,
display
one,
and I have
yeah,
two different types of readers I could appeal to.
yes.
Well, like I think a lot of readers would like both. I think it kind of fits, like the thriller-esque, mystery vibes that a lot
Yeah.
of readers
And if
like.
you win them over in
So,
one genre, they're going to read your other genre because they're like,
yes,
I really like this writing. So they're going to go ahead and do it.
yes. I thankfully have quite a few people who told me I'm like an auto buy author now for them. They're like, they just love my writing style.
Mm,
I have like a lot of poetic prose. Like it doesn't matter what's happening. There's like a lot of poetic prose in it because I
right.
wrote poetry first. So like that follows through in my novel writing as well.
Yeah.
And that's been a really big comment. They're like, just it feels so vivid, like that you're actually there. They're like, I couldn't read it at night because it felt like I was actually there. and I was, so, you know, I think definitely both books would appeal to a large group of people. Like you read one, you'd like the other one. And I will say there's an Easter egg, and there's something that happens in Dead by Dusk. I have an Easter egg for it in Beautiful Dangerous Things. And I think it kind of shows the way time works differently. It's
Yes.
just like a driver that in this dreamscape time works very, very differently.
Mhm.
Just because of one character who's almost a prophetic character. And she weaves in and out of time and she can see different things. So
Yeah.
there's a line in my book. I have posted it, you know, on my Instagram before. I'll probably repost it. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But it's kind of talking about, like the fall. And it doesn't, she's like, it's not ended by dusk. She doesn't say if it's falling in love or like a fall from grace. Like it doesn't really say anything. It's just like the fall, is so quiet,
Yes.
and Beautiful Dangerous Things is a prophetic person and who is very similar to the person who says it in Dead by Dusk, says, like the fall is so quiet and it's so similar, but it's not your own. It's somebody else's, and yet you're going down the same, like a similar path.
Yeah.
Right. And I kind of love that, like I have this Easter egg where you can read Dead by Dusk and then you can
Mhm.
hit this book and you
I
get that,
love
or you
when
can read
authors
this
do
book
that.
and then you get that book, that line in Dead by Dusk, and you're like,
Yeah.
hold up a minute, what's about to
Yes.
happen? What's about to happen? It's
Yes.
like it's alluding. It's almost like again, a sense of dread. As soon as
Mhm.
I got to this character, I was like, she is my driving force that time works differently. Like we have the main male character saying it, but this is my driving force that it actually does. That his
Right.
world, his reality is so much further ahead in time than hers is. And you also see it in the clothing that like they wear and then that they're put in, like, some is way before
Right.
1920, some is way after, like silk, like these like silk gowns that you maybe get with like the slits that like a lot of women wear nowadays. But you also have dresses with like ball gowns and
Mm.
corsets,
Oh,
and you
and this
have
one's
all
so
of these
fun.
different types of things in
Yeah.
this new fantasy dreamscape because they they're different.
Yes.
It's a different world. Um, and so I think doing an event with both books, I could sit there and I could talk about this. I was like, there's Easter eggs, like time works weird in this one, and so you can read this and then read this one and kind
And
of have a moment where it's
find
like,
some
oh no,
moments. Yes.
oh
I
no,
do.
like
I love when I read books by the same author and I'm like, wait a second, this name or this
mhm,
character, and like it's just this like slight overlap. And I'm like, yeah, I love that.
yes.
Love it when I
And
find
I will say, even in Beautiful Dangerous Things, there's I mean, obviously you have like I have a chapter titled what the book's title is. I want like,
yes.
and I do that in every book. But I also will have an Easter egg for one of my next books
Okay.
in Beautiful Dangerous Things, and it's the title of what my next book is going to be called, and it's a
The
chapter
last
title.
author I interviewed did the same thing in her book. And then it's like a contest. So the reader can send in what they think the next title is going to be. And if
Mhm.
they get it, she'll send them like a copy of that book once it's out. And I'm like, that is brilliant marketing. That is so smart.
That's also what I'm doing actually. Like
Yeah.
whenever I did Beautiful Dangerous Things,
Mhm.
I called it Project BDT, and I was like, whoever can guess the title of this book
Yeah.
based off of these clues, and I gave everybody clues, like
Mhm.
different things to expect. Based off of these things, if you can choose the title, pick the
Yeah.
title of the book, the first person will get a copy of the book. If there's multiple people, the first person will win a copy, and then everybody else who gets the title will be put into like a little randomizer, and it'll do a second person.
Yeah.
There's gonna be two winners though. And I had somebody guess correctly, and then someone guessed very, very, very close, and I was like, you've earned this. You've
Yes.
earned it because she guessed on every post and it was something different, but she was
Mhm.
so close. She was so close. And I was like, no,
You deserve
you've
that.
earned
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
You've earned
And
that.
like as readers, we love that stuff. Like because
Mhm.
we will hunt to like find these things and look for them. Because we love a challenge. Give us the challenge. We got it.
Yes. And so I fully plan on, I have the title for two books that I want to work on.
Mhm.
Three books that I want to work on after this one. And it will either be a prequel, a contemporary romance, which is very different
Yes.
than what I'm writing now, or it will be like a mystery, another mystery. No, probably thriller, but it probably will have a slight paranormal turn to it. So
Okay.
kind of close to, kind of like maybe a mix of Dead by Dusk in this one.
Mhm.
And I have the title for all three picked out already. All three are chapter titles in this book. And so I hope by the end of it, by publication, I can make a post where it's like, okay, I had Dead by Dusk, I have Beautiful Dangerous Things, and then the title for the next book is hidden in this book. Let me
Yeah.
tell you about it. These are the things you might want to know. Like this is what it's about.
Yeah.
And so I fully plan on doing that. I think it's really cool that another author did that already.
Yeah.
That
I
kind
had
of
never thought
makes me
about it. And now I've got two people who've done it. I'm like, okay, like I have to like write myself a little note for my own books. Like, this is what we're gonna do.
I love doing Easter eggs. I'm like, let me just hide this in here. Um, but my biggest community definitely comes from Instagram.
Yeah.
I hope that I can do an event one day. Me and my cover artist have talked about it. She lives in Poland. Um, but again, my parents live overseas, so it was something that we both thought about where maybe we meet at like a book event in the UK somewhere
Yeah.
and we meet each other. And I was like, I only would want to do it if you sat next to me, like at a table, at a booth, because
Mhm.
your artwork is phenomenal. And I would love for people to be like, oh, this is the cover artist.
Yeah.
This is the cover artist. This is the writer. Um, and I would love for that to happen. So we both fully plan on one day being able to do an event together where we can meet up for the first time. We've become great friends since the first cover was created. Um, so that's kind of the plan, hopefully for one day. But I would love to, after I move, be able to do book events.
Mhm.
It's just hard whenever you like really don't have like I have a job, I have my
Right.
income, but like I don't do anything for myself other than, like I pay my rent, I
Right.
pay what I need to, and then any extra money goes towards funding my books. Um, and I haven't really made any profit off of my first book, since like the first couple months.
Mhm.
So it's hard to justify because you have to
Spending
provide
more. Yeah.
everything. And I was
Yeah.
like financially, I was like it's hard for me to justify that. Now once I have two books, hopefully
Mhm.
I get an uptick in sales for both books. Maybe somebody reads one, wants to read
Yeah.
the other.
And I think finding events that you can go to that are like
Mhm.
accessible and not across the country or at a
Yes.
location where it's like, well, it's here, but also the hotel rooms are $600 a night. And you're like, yeah, I don't know.
Yes. I've seen some that are close, and I didn't even know that they were like a thing. I'm so
It's hard
technologically
to
like
find
out
them
of touch with
sometimes. Yeah.
events. And like there is one, I live in North Carolina, there's one in Raleigh, and I didn't even know about it until like very recently. But it was in Raleigh. There's another author that went there. She's from Raleigh. Um, and she was posting about how she was gonna go, and I'm like, I didn't even know it was there. I live
Right there.
right there. I go there sometimes, and I didn't even know that was a thing. So it's being able to find one in enough time and make sure it's
Yeah.
accessible, like in every way. Again, I am planning a really big move, so
Mhm.
and that move will be happening in the midst of the release for this next book.
Right. Right.
So I might wait until I get over there, move, get settled, and get really comfortable, then start looking
Mhm.
for actual events. Because I would love to do one. They look so fun. I see authors do it all the time. I have a lot of author friends that do them all the time,
Mhm.
and they get a lot of new readers
Yes.
from doing that. And I'm like, I could do that. I
Yeah,
could
as
do
a
that if
reader,
I just knew
I
about
love
them.
going to them and I love meeting authors and get like
Mhm.
in person and getting to hear about their books and like have them hand sell it to me. I'm like, yes, I am here for this. Give me all the inside
Absolutely,
info.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it's something I would love to do.
Yeah.
Something I would love to do. I think I would find a lot of new readers. I love yapping about my books, so um, I would hope that I could find some readers that would be interested in them at a bookish
Oh
event.
yeah. I think you definitely would. Um, okay, so I want to play high low buffalo with you. So basically, you tell me about a high moment in your writing journey so far, a low moment, and then your buffalo is just something that was entirely unexpected or really strange.
Okay, so I feel like my high and low are kind of in the same spot. It's like the same event. Like a reaction, like a cause and a reaction, a cause and
Okay.
effect, whatever. And I would say I think it's a rite of passage for most authors. I don't think it should be, but obviously piracy is no joke.
Oh,
And within the first week of my book, with it like literally less than a week,
mhm.
it was pirated, over 1,000 downloads within just a couple of
Oh,
days.
I'm so sorry.
And I was like, I feel like I'm missing out on a lot right now because
That's That's a lot
The
of sales.
very big pirating website. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's a good chance that um, maybe, like one of them would have read it. And a lot of people, I did turn to social media. I was distraught. I was devastated.
Yeah.
I was like, I put so much into this, and for that book, I was financially at a time where like I was picking between having a good meal and getting an editor, or
Mhm.
like I was, I'm making a little bit more now. I have a little bit more help financially,
Yeah.
so it's not as much of a struggle now, but during Dead by Dusk, it definitely was. And I was like, I put so much, if I wasn't at work, I was writing. I wasn't
Yeah.
going out, I wasn't doing anything. I was writing, with the exception of my sister's wedding, which was when I first started writing the book, and it
Uh,
was out of the country. I went out of the country for 2 weeks, came back, and again, if I wasn't at work, I was writing. I
mhm.
write at work too. Like I feel like it is a very big part of me, and I put so much into it just for it to be pirated. I was like, I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of people comment, like, boohoo, get over it, like it happens. It's making reading accessible. And I'm like, libraries.
Yeah.
Also, like, I know there are people in other countries that don't have accessibility to it. That's cool. You're in another country, you can't get it. Message me. Message me. Say, hey, I'm in this other country. I will review your book.
Hmm.
Like if it doesn't sit with me, I don't finish it, I'll let you know. But like I will review it. I can't buy it.
Right.
Yeah, I would 100% like send a free like ebook. If you can
Yeah. I
message me,
feel
you
like a
can read
lot
it
of
on your
authors
phone.
would like piracy. There's a lot of better options to piracy. I agree with you.
Yes.
Anti-piracy, and most authors that I know of are like, if you just contact me, like if there's like a legitimate reason that you can't get this book, I will get it to you because we
Yes.
want people to read our stories. Like that's the whole point.
Yes. I've sent free ebooks to people. I've messaged me
Yeah.
like, I want to read this book. I really
Mhm.
want to read it. I Like, like in some countries books just cost an excessive amount of money, and
Right.
it's a
Yes.
luxury, right? And some countries maybe it's not offered.
Hmm.
If you want to read it, I will send it. I've done it before. I'll do it again. But I
Right.
was getting a lot of like, comments where it was just, like, tell me that you're writing for the money and not because you love it. Right. Tell me I'm writing because I love it,
Yes.
but I poured a lot. I just wanted to break even.
Hmm.
I
Artists
That's
deserve to
really
be
the
paid.
goal.
Yes, artists deserve to be paid. That was your work, your labor, your creativity. You deserve money,
Yes.
100%.
And I'm like, if I just wrote it and never published it, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
If I, like maybe I put it on Wattpad and I don't like charge any like thing for ads or anything, make any profit. I just put it
Yeah.
on there for people to read. That's fine. That's me saying I want my book out there. And
Right.
but I poured so much money into it that I was just like, I would love to make something back. And my whole thing was every 50 books sold, I will donate a book to the library.
Yeah.
That was my thing. I was like, every 50 books, like I'll donate it, it'll be signed, you know, like
Right.
I'll get it there. And I don't know, just it felt like I had two sales, which I knew who the two were. I knew who the two people were. And then I had all of these downloaded copies that, when people pirate a book, they don't review it, they don't do anything. So like it doesn't help at all. It literally does not help. And so people were like, it's a rite of passage, take it as a sign that you wrote something good enough to steal. And I was just like,
No.
yeah, and I would like to get paid for
Yes.
it. I
Yeah.
would. I don't think there's anything wrong with it and anybody villainizing an author because they want to get paid after spending hundreds,
Yes.
thousands of dollars to get this book out and make
Mhm.
sure it was
Plus all
well
the
developed.
hours. Like if you actually broke down like
Yes.
hourly rate of like how long it took you to do that work,
Hmm.
every author is pretty much underpaid.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I said, like I write it while I'm at work and I also write it when I'm at home. And I don't really go out unless I'm like, oh, I need to go get groceries.
Yeah.
I need sustenance to survive. Okay. And so like I write and produce these books at a pretty fast rate, like decently fast rate, because I spend all of my time writing,
Right.
you know, and I love it. I wouldn't spend so much time writing it if I didn't love writing. but like just I feel like it went like all down the drain. And to get so many people, like where it's just like be grateful that people want to read it,
Yeah.
like tell me you're doing it just for money without telling me like
Yeah. That's
be
so
grateful you have
frustrating.
something good enough to steal. No, I'm not going to be grateful. There's other ways.
Yes.
There are other ways. I'm plan on, like I wanted to donate, but like I don't have to because you can always request the book at a library and
Right. And they'll buy it.
they will get it.
I have made so many requests at my library, and like within like a couple weeks, I think the longest I've waited was like a
Mhm.
month. And they're like, "Oh, look, we have this book that you wanted." And I'm like, "Perfect, thank you."
Yeah. Like you request it at a library. Most indie authors doesn't always work. It's not going to work with
Right.
trad authors. But most indie authors are willing to um, send their book if
Yeah.
somebody really doesn't have access to it and they are very interested. And I'm one of those people. I made it very clear. I was very vocal about it online. Like if you ever want to read it and you just feel like you're in a situation where you can't afford to, I don't feel like reading should be a luxury. Like I feel
No.
like
Yeah.
reading
It
should be
shouldn't.
accessible to anybody. So of course, yes, I will send this ebook. I hope you love it. I hope you enjoy it.
Mm.
Um, and like that was always my hope. And so that was like a really low. But I also, on the other part of the spectrum, had a lot of people comment, like telling me like that it's awful, like the book sounds really good. And they bought the book. They bought the ebook, the physical
Yeah.
copy, whatever. A lot of people bought the physical over the ebook, which I loved. And some people are, like it's not my typical thing, but the cover's really cool
Yeah.
anyways. And to support you and what's happened, like I'll buy it. I probably won't read it,
Hmm.
but I'll buy it and support. And I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you. And I had, I think, 30 sales, which for somebody who just released a book who
That's
had a very
excellent.
very
Yeah.
small following at the time. I still do, but it was a lot smaller when I first released the book. Like that felt like I was like, wow, I had a lot of people banding towards, like and helping me out.
Yeah.
I had other authors see it and post it to their stories, my post. I'm like, this is awful, go support this author. And I was like, I don't know you, I don't even talk to you,
Yeah.
like this is somebody I've never talked to that I've been following. I didn't know if they were following me at the time, but you know, they went and they shared it and they're like, this is awful. Um,
And I love how authors do
and
that. Like
indie,
we are so quick to like pick that up and be like, wait, this isn't right. And then
yes,
help bring other people in to support them. So I love that for you.
absolutely. And then I had an indie bookstore, the Crafty Bookstore. Um, they reached out and they had done a post for a lot of books that were coming out the month that mine was released.
Yeah.
And they shared his story and they messaged me and they were like, we're so sorry, like we were super excited about your release. Like this really sucks. And then they asked if I wanted my book to be sold in their store. And they're like a little,
Mhm.
and I was like, absolutely.
Like,
And
what?
they
No,
are
I
a
don't want
dream
my
to
book
work
sold
with.
there. I don't want to do that. No. Why would I want to
They
sell
are a
it
dream
in
to
your
work
store?
with. They are so kind, so
Awesome.
nice, so creative. They have so much stuff there. They're very supportive of all indie authors.
Mhm.
Every now and then, like they put traditionally published books in there. They always ask the trad author person. They reach out and they try to get it in stock
Yeah.
for any reader who is like, I want to buy from an indie store, but I want a traditionally published book. Can you get this
Mhm.
here? And they are so accommodating for that. And I love them. Like I've been with them since.
Yeah.
And so I feel like low, it was pirated. It sucked. It was awful. And I maybe missed out on a lot of readers. Like if it wasn't pirated, maybe they would have just downloaded the ebook. Like
Right.
actually down it's very cheap. And if they're gonna read an ebook format anyways,
Right.
it was pretty cheap. It's not as expensive as my paperback. So
Right.
you know,
It's frustrating.
but hi, I got in touch with an amazing indie bookstore,
Mhm.
and I had a lot of readers, band together and
And help
and kind of like help out. They either read it on Kindle Unlimited or bought a copy of the book, and and support my love.
out.
An hour. You still have an hour until dinner. Do not look at me like that.
You're
You are
starving
not
them. I
starving.
can tell. I saw their little faces earlier in the interview, and they just look. I'm gonna call Sarah McLaughlin really soon and just be like, we got two animals.
Well, they were both rescues, so um, he hates. I was about to. He was all climbing up on me. I was about to aim the camera down, but he hates the camera. So as soon as he saw me do that, he bolted. Um,
So what's been your
but
buffalo? Like what was the just most
my
unexpected?
buffalo. Okay, so very unexpected. I do have a lot of authors that I love. I'm a very eclectic reader, and the same
Mhm.
way that I'm very eclectic in my writing. But one of my favorite contemporary authors is Amelie Reese,
Okay.
and she has written the Wildflower series. She has
Mhm.
3 books out. She's releasing the 4th one. She followed me, and she was like commenting on a lot of my posts very early. It was like before my book was released. It was I'd only been promoting my book for maybe a month, and she followed me and she started commenting on some of my posts, and I was like, the queen, the queen. I got her attention.
Yes.
It was like a really strange moment for me. I was like, I didn't see that happening, and I know she like but then she had a pretty big following. It's only grown, so I don't know how active
Awesome.
she is other than like posting and replying to comments because she gets quite a bit of traction
Mhm.
now. But for me, I was like, I read the at the time that that happened, she only had 1 book out, but I'd already read it like 6 times. I loved it. And then during the writing for Dead by Dusk, she released her 2nd one, and I was like, oh god, I love this one too. So she's one of my favorite contemporary authors. I love her. And so when she followed me,
That is
I was
awesome.
like fangirling.
Congratulations. Yeah, no, I
I
feel
was
the same way. Like
fangirling the
every now and then, like somebody will follow or like comment. I'm like, where did that person come from? Like, I can't believe that that person whom I love just commented on something I posted. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
what
Yep.
alternate timeline did I accidentally fall into? I love that.
Absolutely. And so I
Yeah.
also I will not give out the name for the artist yet.
Mm.
They do animations for themselves,
Yeah.
but they only ever do commissions of like comic strips and just art pieces. They don't do animations for anybody else. They don't take commissions on those.
Yeah.
And so I did get on the books with her for a comic strip, and well, actually, I don't know if it's a she. They're very anonymous, so I'm gonna say they. I want to be
Okay.
very inclusive. I don't know, but they had made a story on Instagram talking about, possibly opening up animations, but they don't really know if they're really big in the bookish
Mm.
community. They don't really know, like a lot of doubt. And when the way I slid into her DMs like a toxic ex, like coming back for more. Okay, I came and I said, "Let me tell you, let me tell you, I support this side quest of yours. I support it. I love her animations."
Mm.
And I'm like, I just feel like it would be so perfect for either of my books, depending on how you look at it. Dead by Dusk has, like the amnesia trope, but like all of their memories come back in dreams, and it's how
Yeah.
they figure out how to get out and get away. And so, like to have like a dream-esque animation of my characters falling in love before they're put into this would be amazing. Or in
Yes.
my love, come here. But or beautiful dangerous things to have something, like very romantic and like maybe my 2 main characters dancing together.
Hello, cutie.
Um, a little needy boy. To have like them dancing together or her falling into this dream, something, like very crazy. I would love that. And so I did. I slid in her DMs
Yeah.
so fast, and I said, I will make it relevant for you. Okay, like
Wow.
I don't even have the following to like you have a much larger following than me. I wasn't sure they would even message me back,
Mm.
Like they only messaged me that like after I put in my commission for the comic strip.
Yeah.
So we'd messaged before, but like I didn't really know if they'd message me like just because of how big of a following they are, just a
Mm.
random person messaging them. Um, but a few days later, they responded to my message and they're like, "Oh yeah, I was thinking about it. My comms are so full, but I really want to. It'd be so fun." And I was like, "If you ever open it up, I would love. Like, I would do it, and I'll help you. I would do it. I don't care. I don't care how much you would try. Like, I really don't care. I would make it happen." And so I will be their very first ever commissioned animation. I am on the books for it.
This
It
is
will
so
be for
exciting.
Beautiful Dangerous Things. And I'm going to actually gift them a free copy of the book. They're going to read the book and they're going to choose. They're going to
Okay.
choose what they want to animate. I was like, just like it's a, you're doing this, you're putting yourself out there to like do commission animation. I want you to do something that you're going to love,
Right.
you know.
Oh,
So
this is
you
so
choose
exciting.
what you want to do and we'll do it.
I can't
Um,
wait. I can't wait for whenever they get around to it and we get to see it.
April is when I'm commissioned for
Okay.
it. I'm sure it'll take a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
So probably May, June is when I would release it. But I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's also a very strange thing. I wasn't expecting
That
to be
is.
somebody's first commissioned
That is.
animation.
Your
Um,
enthusiasm just came through over that DM and they were like, we have to do this. We are in. We are in.
yes, I'm so excited. I really don't want to put out there, like, of course I'm going to tag them when it happens, but
Yeah. Oh
because
yeah. Like folks,
they haven't opened it up
100%.
yet, I don't want them to get flooded with.
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to be very respectful of their
Yeah, no, that's smart.
decision.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're going to announce it until closer to
Oh yeah. No,
the time
they
and
should
when.
probably wait. Like
Mhm.
get all their ducks in a row, so to speak. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
what
So
is
I'm
next
gonna
for you?
be
Like what are you working on now? So like we know that there's this other book and you're not going to give us the title because that's going to be like an Easter egg contest thing. But can you just give us like
yes.
a little teaser about it for 2026?
So I have three different ideas. I haven't settled on which one I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, the prequel for this book is one of them. For
Yeah.
Beautiful Dangerous Things is one of my ideas, and I wasn't even gonna do it. I wasn't gonna do one. I didn't feel like it was a necessary thing. I was like, it's gonna be standalone in every way possible. But there are three women in this book
Mm-hmm.
who I feel like, again, it's just another way to work with time and like the different plays and how it works. But there are three different women who, when I really kind of started thinking about the core of who they were, I was like, they almost play as in this fantasy realm, like the fates, you know. One welcomes the soul, one kind of weaves the threads of what's going to happen. They see what their whole life of how it's going to happen, what
Uh-huh.
choices they're going to make, and one cares for the souls after they pass if they stay. Like she's a
Oh, that's so
caretaker of the
cool.
souls
Yeah.
in that realm. And I was like, I think it would be so cool to kind of make the prequel strictly about them, how they ended up there, what happened. One of them was the very first one to ever end
Mhm.
up in this dreamscape, So like to put their lives in a prequel, I think would be so wonderful. It does kind of play on the same theme as the
Right.
naming. I will say that is the only clue I will give. It plays on the same theme. Um, but that is something I've been thinking about it a lot. And as someone who wasn't even going to write it, I'm really mad that I'm thinking about it a lot. But I did already talk to the cover artist.
Mm-hmm.
I already sent her like references for what I would want to do for it. And she's very excited. She's very excited. It will give all the gothic, eerie vibes that you would, because it's primarily going to be set in the dreamscape. Like
Yeah.
that's where they
No,
spend
this
so
sounds
much of their
really,
lives, and
really
it's them
cool.
plotting. Once they get there, it's them plotting, and they're kind of stuck to their place. Like
Mm-hmm.
only one can travel the whole realm after they get stuck there. The other two are kind of stuck in a prison of their own making. Um, and so it's them individually and kind of together plotting the downfall of this man who they feel as if tricked them,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I love that. I love the whole,
I like that there's like
I
a little
just
revenge piece there because I do love stories of revenge.
yes,
That's some of my favorite themes.
yes. Absolutely. And they're all different. And I will kind of go into it. I did one of them is someone we know and love.
Okay.
Um in the first book. Actually, we know all of them. But very early on we know and we get their point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Um and the other two, we hear of them for a good portion of the book, but we don't meet them. When
Okay.
we meet the first one, we meet the prophetic one. Everybody has to go through her. Like if they make it to a certain amount of days where they've survived in this dreamscape,
She's like the
they
gatekeeper.
kind of meet her as a halfway point.
Okay.
And she's very vague. She's very vague. She's bound by like certain limitations of what she can and cannot tell people. Because she does see their paths, but she also sees different, she's like every path, has different directions.
Mm-hmm.
Every decision you make, you could do this and this could happen. You could do this and this could happen. And I can't even tell you. But I can tell you this. If you make it here,
Mm-hmm.
whenever this happens, you will have a choice to make, and that will kind of decide what your fate will be,
Okay.
from here on out. She's very vague, very creepy, and I call her the woman of many faces.
Ooh, great
And
name.
she has been there so long, and she sees so many different paths, so many different people, and she
Mm-hmm.
has forgotten her own face and steals the faces of others. Um, and I love that. I love
Delightfully
that.
creepy.
Huh?
Delightfully creepy. I'm here for it.
Delightfully creepy. And then the other woman, she's mentioned very early on in the book, and my beta readers were very like, are we going to get to meet her? Very demanding.
Uh-huh.
Very demanding. Are we going to get to meet her? I want to meet her. And I was like, just
Calm down.
but like, like again, they're all bound by their lands and certain things that they can and can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, in the prequel, we're going to see all the scheming. But in this book, like it's once they've schemed, setting everything into motion. Because again, time works differently.
Yes.
It's been 26 years for our main female, but for them, it's been centuries. It's been thousands
Yeah.
of years of watching people come and go and fall to what they deem is like, a lie. They're like he's tricking us.
Yes.
He's bound by truth, but he's tricking you. He's saying things in a way that he needs to get you to choose this day, right? They're acting crazy. It might be my next one. It wasn't planned to be my next one, but now it's in my head. It won't go away. It's like a little, just keeps nagging like a little fly. Um,
Well, I
so
think it sounds
that's
like
one
an
of
excellent
them.
idea. So I support this 100%.
Thank you. Um, I feel like the mystery one with the almost, I say paranormal. We don't really know. It's going to be one of those where it's kind of left open,
Mm-hmm.
where it could be paranormal or it could be mental. Okay, like you don't really get to
Okay.
know. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where it's sitting at in my head. That might change a little bit, but right now, the whole idea is apparently I love writing about dreams and stuff like that. But essentially, a woman wakes up in the hospital and she has X amount of lost time,
Okay.
and her parents, they pick her up and they're like, honey, you don't have an apartment anymore, like, because you couldn't pay for anything. We picked up your stuff. It's at the house. Come stay with us until you're back on your feet, right? But she was like in a horrible accident, right? Horrible accident, and everybody that she was with in this accident had passed. And so she's sitting there and she's waking up and she's realizing, wow, like all this time has passed. They've been gone. I didn't get to go. Like she's almost like in the state of mourning and grief. And she's like, you know what? She only lost X amount of time. She still knows everything about herself. She knows who she
Yeah.
is. She knows her favorite book. She's like, let me, pick up my comfort book. Let me do this, right? And she picks it up and it just feels wrong. And she opens it and it has like all these mixing, like carved out pages with like a little note and a USB drive. And a USB or the note is pretty much, like if something happens to you, like,
Fascinating.
and that's it. It doesn't say anything else, like just in case something happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the USB is locked. Like she doesn't know the code. She doesn't know how to get into it. But she's over here and she's like, what do you mean if something happened to me? Right? What do you mean? And so then she's kind of paranoid. She's like, something obviously was going on in my life before this accident. She's
Yeah. And
questioning,
she
was
just
the
can't
accident
remember.
accident or was it on purpose?
Yeah.
And I will say it's going to be a love triangle. There's going to be two male love interests. And I hate when there's a love triangle and one feels like the obvious answer and the other one is just like, I want them to both feel like the right answer, and one of them is going to be
The right.
the bad guy.
Okay.
One of them is going to be the bad guy, and they're both going to feel like the right answer. Is what I'm hoping to do with it. I think this one might take a little bit longer. I don't know if it's going to be my next one, but I've put a lot of thought into it already, and that's kind of the general vibes.
I feel like you just
is
need to start listening to your music, your playlists, and wait for that song
I
to
do.
come in.
I
That's what
do.
needs to happen.
I do. I haven't made a playlist for that one yet. I have obviously the one for Beautiful Dangerous Things is probably
Mhm.
gonna continue on for the prequel. I might build on it a little bit with more some like revenge songs because
Yeah.
right now it's very whimsical, very falling in love, but there's like a lot of dark, eerie music to it as well because that's the vibe. Um, and then I also have a playlist for the contemporary romance,
Mhm.
and that one even though I might not write a poetry book, might not publish it, the main female character is going to be a romance author and a poet.
Okay.
And so I do plan on having little section breaks of
Mhm.
different poems or excerpts that she's written for her books.
Oh, that's so cool.
And the male main character is going to be an artist with synesthesia who sees colors as people,
Yes.
like and voices, and he paints that. He paints
Mhm.
what he sees. And she is one of those. I don't know if you've watched 27 Dresses,
I haven't.
but you know, like the male main character is like, I never want to fall in love. Essentially,
Mhm.
I never want that, and that's kind of what she's like. That's what our author like. Even though she writes about love and
Right.
wanting it and everything,
Very
she
cynical
doesn't
about
want
it.
it. She's like, no, no, I'm not interested in anything
Yeah.
men have to offer. Okay, nothing. There's a beautiful female friendship that is in that book. I'm really excited to write.
Mhm.
And the male main character obviously is super interesting with, you know, like the way he paints and everything like that. But he's one of those, he wants to fall in. He's a hopeless romantic. He wants to
Okay.
fall in love. And so we'll get a strangers to friends to lovers trope in that one, you know, like where they
Oh.
meet and he's like, I'm gonna nail this down. And she's like,
No.
who are you? Like,
I love that. I love when you have those two opposites. And I'm also a huge fan of friendship stories. I want more friendship elements in more books. I that's my personal like book goal.
I love having it's been really hard because I love writing a good friend, you know, even if it's not like in a romantic sense,
Yeah.
if it's in a platonic sense, I love writing the good friendship stories. And
Yeah.
I have some amazing friends, so it's very easy for me to write. For this one, I don't really get to write that, you know, like it's and that's been really hard for me. Like my main female character doesn't really have anyone to lean on. Um, and, you know, like I get it. Like I've been at a point in my life where it felt like I was at the same.
Hmm.
So it's like easy, but it's also like this hurts.
Yeah.
Like
You're
I
like,
don't
can't
want to
we
put
fix
anybody
this?
through this. I don't want
I
to,
am the
even if they're
author.
fictional, I don't want to put anybody through this. So those are kind of where I'm sitting at options wise for what's next. Either a prequel, the mystery thriller,
They both sound
what's
absolutely
happening.
amazing. So whichever one you hear the song for, is going to
Mhm.
be like a great choice because I really feel like that's part of your method is that just randomly like you hear a song at the most unexpected
Yes.
time and you're like, this is what I'm doing.
I think it's so strange that I haven't had that for at least a contemporary romance because I
Yeah.
got the idea around the same time as Beautiful Dangerous Things,
Hmm.
and I've had a playlist for that like made since the beginning,
Yeah.
and so I thought by now I would have heard a song
Like
for it.
I'm on. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I
Maybe
have
it
an
knows.
amazing playlist,
It knows that
an
you
amazing.
got to finish this up and you got to focus and it doesn't want to get you off track. So the
I
universe is
guess.
looking out for you.
I guess. But if the universe could just like give me a sign,
Just a
which
little
one's next? Because
bit.
right now it just keeps giving me book ideas.
Yeah.
And that's just not very nice. I don't have enough time to write them all at the same time.
Not very helpful.
But
All right. Are you ready for your lightning round questions?
yes.
Awesome. Okay. So, question number one. What is your most controversial food opinion, like within your family or your friend group?
Within my family or friend group, I don't think there's like a really big controversial take. But just in general, I
Mhm.
don't know how people are going to respond to this. I really like to eat Takis with Nutella.
Really?
Yes.
I'm trying to envision this in my head.
You get the sweet, the salty, a little hint of like a little kick.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of potential for that to be really good, but at the same time, I'm gonna have to think about this one. This is
Like within my
interesting.
friends and family, I love to cook.
Yeah.
And all my friends love my cooking. I have a very good sense of like
Okay.
flavor palette, I guess. I
I
do
have a really
think
good sense
Nutella
of
and Takis.
flavor,
I don't
except
do
I
it
put
often.
my
It's a
Takis in
weird,
Nutella.
huh?
You have a good sense of flavor, but you put your Takis in Nutella. I don't know. I
I
don't
think that's a weird craving for me. It doesn't happen often, but every now and then I'm like,
Yeah, no, I mean it's amazing. Like I am intrigued. There's part of me that wants to try this. So
and part of you that probably does it for good reason. But I think that's like a controversial thing. Other than that, I don't really feel like I have a lot. I know pineapple on pizza is a big thing. I love it. Some
yeah,
people don't.
I love it too. I
But
am
other than
pro
that,
pineapple.
flavor palette wise, I'm an amazing cook. Everybody loves my cooking. My brother is my roommate right now, and he said he's really happy that I'm not married because if I get married, he knows that he won't be able to eat my food anymore. Um, so
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Question number two. If you had to be a side character in one of your novels, which would you pick and what is your chance of survival?
I'm gonna say it right now. My chance of survival, no matter what, is slim to none. Slim to none. Because you're telling me beautiful, dangerous things. I end up in this like little magical world, and a man's like, dance with me, folding like a lawn chair. Okay.
But is that
My
better than
chances of
being
survival
trapped?
are slim to none.
Is that better than being trapped, like, and not having your memories and knowing that you're not going to survive?
Oh
Like,
no, 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 no. Either way, I wouldn't survive. Like,
but what's the better way to
and
go?
then
Like
my dusk,
dancing with
I
the
feel like I
shadow
would.
guy, or just like dying because
I mean, dancing with a shadow guy, probably.
obviously, okay.
But in Dead by Dusk, I'm like, there's certain things I can do. Like give me certain. I think like with my background a little bit, I think I have slim, but the running is what would do me in. I hate running. That running would do me in hard.
God.
I'd be like, let me stay in this house. If somebody comes out, I'll do what I gotta do. But I'll stay
Okay.
here until y'all figure out
So you're gonna be like the
how to
slow
get out.
gazelle at the back of the herd that the lion's taken down. Like that's it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Question number three. These are great. I love these. What author would you love to sit down and have dinner with? I feel like
This
I
is
maybe
hard.
know your answer, but
I have multiple. I have
okay.
multiple. If I could have like a whole dinner with a whole bunch of authors and for
Yes.
different reasons. First one, immediate though, V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab.
Excellent choice.
They're an auto-buy author for me. I love everything they
Yeah.
do. Absolutely. V.E. Schwab, 100%. I just want to talk.
Okay, so we're
I
gonna
just want
before
to
you
talk.
give me your other ones, what is your favorite V.E. Schwab book?
Invisible Life of Addie LaRue changed my life. I will
Yeah.
say that. Other than that, I think the Darker Shades of Magic trilogy was
Mm,
so good. I loved it. So I think those are my two like favorites right now.
okay.
I haven't gotten to read Barrier Bones and the Midnight Soil yet, though.
Yeah, I that's the one I
So
haven't
I have a
read
feeling.
yet. My favorite is
That one will.
yeah, I've heard really great things about it. Um,
Mhm.
my favorite is the Archived and the Unbound.
I haven't read those yet. They
Yeah,
are on my TBR. I
they're just
want
so
to.
sweet.
It's
Like I love them so much. That was actually the first V.E. Schwab book that I ever read in my life. And then it just spiraled out from there, and I kept reading more. But
Mhm.
yeah, okay, all right. Who else are you inviting?
Who else am I? I'm also inviting Logan Carley. She wrote Dream by the Shadows, started out indie, and got a publishing deal. I'm
Mm-hmm.
so proud of her. Her book is releasing very, very, very soon at the time of that we're doing this interview.
Exciting.
And I know she said she made some changes. I just want to talk. Again, I just want to talk. Her book is also based in a dreamscape, kind of gothic, eerie, mystical. So
Mm,
I think it's very cool that we have similar comparisons and similar vibes. But
yeah,
reading her book, as an indie, um, they are so vastly like
yeah.
worlds apart. And I I love the way she presents herself on social media. I just think we'd get along very well. That would be amazing. Let me make sure she goes. She has a full. I want to make sure I say it right. Um, I actually already have it pulled up on my Instagram too because I was like, I'm gonna say it. I want to make sure I did it. I say it correctly. I'm trying to trying to be Gretchen Powell Fox. So she wrote Smoke and Scar.
Mm,
Um, and terrestrial, and her second book in the trilogy that she's writing right now, Splintered Kingdom, is about to release. I feel like we'd be really good friends in real life. I feel like if we knew each other, just the way she presents herself, she's a lot more open to presenting herself on social media than I am.
Mm.
She does a lot, like shows herself. I dream of being able to do that. I'm so awkward and anxious sometimes about making a video with myself. And then Anna Hawthorne, and she's done the Demon Wars trilogy.
Okay.
And she, again, she's just another person. I love the way she presents herself. I love the vibes of her books.
Mm.
And whenever I finish writing this one, all of their books are books that I plan to read before my editor starts working on Beautiful Dangerous Things.
Yes.
I plan to just really binge them. But they're all incredibly nice people. I've gotten to talk to all of them in some aspect, except for VE and Logan. But I'm very open in their comment sections. You will find me there every time. You will always find me in their comment sections.
The universe. So, like, universe, do your thing. We've manifested it. We put it out there. So all of these people like should contact you and be like, okay, we're having dinner.
Yes, precisely. I will drive. I will go the distance. Okay, I will get on a plane. I don't care.
100%. That sounds like an amazing group to have dinner with. Like, I fully support this.
Thank you. Okay. I think so too. They all seem like amazing women, and I just would love to talk to them, pick their brain, all talk. And we all write very differently. I feel like we all have different writing styles. We all have different vibes to the worlds that we build.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think it would be so cool to really get to talk to them, get to know them.
No, 100%. All right. Question number 4. How many books are currently in your TBR pile?
The limit does not exist.
That is so many.
There's so many. It's actually terrifying. I was like, I saw that question. I was like, oh no. Oh no. And I went to my story graph, and that doesn't even have all of my books. And there's like, I think almost 400 books on my story graph of want to reads. Oh. My Goodreads doesn't have as many want to reads on there, but they're not even books that are on my story graph that I want to read. And then there are some that don't even make it there, but I screenshot them on my phone as I see them. I'm like, oh, I need to read this.
Yes.
And so I'm just gonna say the limit does not exist because I'm so eclectic with I read just about any genre.
Oh my gosh. No, that's awesome. I love hearing about how many books people have. I've had people of like, I have over 1,000 books. I'm like, how do you manage that? That just gives me anxiety. Like 400 gives me anxiety. I can't do that many.
Yeah. I hate it for myself. Like, I actually hate it for myself.
Like mine is in double digits, and that is too many for me. I'm like, I need a single digit TBR pile.
It helps that I'm like a mood reader. Like I'm a fast reader, but like whenever I pick my books, I can just like be like, okay, well what do I want to read right now? Right. I want to read I want a romantasy. I do want a standalone. I want a happy ever after at the end. I don't always, but like maybe that's what I want now. I don't want an enemies to lovers. Maybe I want like a arranged marriage. And I want some good banter. I want a grumpy sunshine. Maybe I want something like that. And I can go in and I can just look at what fits the bill for that. And it kind of helps because I almost always know what I want to read. I can narrow it down to a few books, read the synopsis, and be like, this one's calling to me. This one's speaking to me right now.
Because I will say that is like to my detriment with my like double digit pile is that I only have so many options like in front of me. So I'm like, like these are all just kind of heavy. I want something light and fluffy, and I have 0 light and fluffy on there. And so then I have to pick something, and I'm like, well, I guess this is what we're doing. So that is my disadvantage. But 400, anxiety inducing.
Anxiety inducing. It really is. I have books that I own that aren't even on a listed TBR somewhere. Like, but it's obviously I own them. I want to read them.
Yeah, somewhere.
My only saving grace is my only saving grace is that I'm a very fast reader. Very, very fast reader. And so before I started writing, I was getting in like 20 to 27 books a month.
Oh, wow.
You know, like unless the books were like atrociously big, I usually finish them within a day. I did dissect them. I have 12-hour shifts at work.
Mm.
And so it was when there was nothing going on, I would just read,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
that's very smart. All right, so thank you so much. Scribblers, you can find links to Nelly's web pages down below, so make sure you check it out to order books and get reading. We have some really great stuff coming up. Thank you so much for chatting with the Scribblers Den. I've had so much fun talking with you, and I can't wait to see more.
I can't wait for you to see more too. I had a great time talking to you, and I hope you have the best day.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so Scribblers, you know the drill. I need you to hit that like button. I need you to subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.